Good evening. I'm Ben Duffy, Sherdog.com senior editor, and I'm joined this evening by Mike the Truth Jackson, a photographer, videographer, combat sports podcaster, all-around personality, and two-time UFC fighter. How you doing this evening, Mike?
Oh man, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me, Ben.
Hey, it is always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to give a little background since this is going to be a new story about an old story. For those who might not remember, back in June of 2018, Mike Jackson fought Phil Brooks, of course, better known as professional wrestling former superstar CM Punk, won a one-sided unanimous decision at UFC 225, and that was large. I mean, that's the last we've seen of either of them in a professional mixed martial arts cage since. But the way it came to my attention working at a news outlet was we just noticed about 2 weeks ago that that decision had been overturned to a no contest. A little more digging indicated that it was because Jackson had tested positive for cannabis, the devil's weed,
Let's
the
go.
the recently legalized in Nevada combat sports devil's weed. But nonetheless, we didn't print a story on it right away because Sherdog associate editor Jay Petrie, who runs the Sherdog Fight Finder, our record-keeping device, reached out to the Illinois Commission, and we still haven't heard back from them.
You won't hear back from him.
My my first question for you, Mike, is when did you hear about this?
Like October, maybe maybe into September, October of 2018, like right after the fight. Yeah,
Okay,
so 3 months after the fight.
so you actually heard within a couple months after the fight. Uh, at the time, like, was it I guess a formal professional notice? Were you given any options or procedure for appealing if you were inclined to do so? Anything like that?
Yeah, so basically, I got a letter from Illinois Athletic Commission saying, "Hey, you tested positive for THC. Your contest has been overturned to a no con, or your fight been turned to no contest." And so at then I'm like, wait, what's going on? So, well, let me rewind. Let me tell you the full story leading up to that. So and let's see, the fights in June. So in April, like roughly into April, um, yeah, it was like in like maybe like 23rd, something like that. We get an email from Jeff Nowitzki, head of USADA, and he's basically saying, "Hey guys, Illinois has a zero tolerance for weed. If you smoke, this would be a great time. This would be enough time for you to like get it out of your system." So I was like, damn, man, like, because again, this is over a month. Like, this was probably been, it was a month before I would leave to go out for fight week, right? So I basically, so in a month and a week, I was like, damn, man, that's gonna be that week, but whatever. So stop smoking. Um, Fast forward to, I'm talking. I get the letter. Then I call. I talked to. I called him and I was like, "Yo, like, what's going on?" And so the lady tells me, she's like, "Yeah, you tested positive for THC, but it was like it's such a small amount." And I was like, "Then what?" She said, "Well, Illinois has a zero tolerance." So I said, "Well, I mean, I don't live in Illinois. I'm from Texas. We get an email from the head of USADA because under the USADA, their policy, they only test for weed in competition. And once we found out that that wasn't the case anymore, that it was, Illinois is zero tolerance, then we all stopped. It wasn't, I mean, that's just how THC works. Like, it stays there, but it doesn't mean like it's affecting me at all. I didn't fight high or anything like that. So we're going back and forth. And so she tells me, like, look, you just, I don't even, I think they even like waived the fine. I didn't have to pay anything to them. They gave me a 3 month suspension, but they backdated it to the day of the fight. So even when I was on the phone with the people, my suspension was already up. A suspension that I didn't even know about was already up. Um, So that was really like the end of it, and it didn't pop back up for me at least. And we're trying to get the Dean Barry fight situated. Had a few hiccups, and that one of the hiccups in getting this fight made was that I was still on suspension for weed. Well, remember it was supposed to be 3 months
Yep.
retroactively, but they had me like, and then like the whole thing was just stupid. But the UFC took care of it. It made no sense, and so to my understanding now somebody snitched. We got snitches out here, bro. We got haters out here, man. Dropping a dime, and they was like, yo, y'all know Mike Jackson. His fight is he lost to CM Punk. They have people DM. So it's just a weird thing. But look, you and I we've spoken. I'm a different. I'm like an anomaly in this thing, man. I'm like the dude in the Matrix, kind of free roaming, right? And a lot of things don't necessarily apply to me like they do to other people. So this doesn't mean anything. Like the only thing that it really meant is that for the Dean Barry fight, I'm gonna get the same pay that I did for the Punk fight because technically they took the win away. Like outside, I mean, I'm on the list out on a few $1,000s, but whatever. Again, I'm doing this for shits and giggles anyway, so whatever. It's the price. It's the price to party. But outside of that, like nothing changes. Like look, if y'all want to say it was a no contest after what I did to that dude for some random a picogram of THC, and we all know a picogram is like 50 million pieces of grain of salt, right? So if y'all gonna like hassle me about that after what I did to that dude, I mean, if that's how you think, that's cool. But who raised you? Did you come from a broken home or something? Like, what do you like? Why are you thinking like that? But like I said, it doesn't matter. I'll be the guy who, if I have to go out here and talk and advocate and do my thing, especially because right now it's such a hot topic with everything going on. I'm down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready.
Something that occurred to me when, again, I first heard about this a couple weeks ago was I'm surprised because I would have expected to hear something from Mike about it. Not that you'd like pick up the phone and text me directly, but just if something like that happened, I would have expected you to tweet about it or talk about it on your own show, just either to laugh about it or protest the injustice or whatever the case may be.
Right,
Why
right.
were you quiet about it?
I forgot about it. I legit forgot about it, dude. I don't even remember what was going on at the time. Like I remember talking to the lady that day, and it was like in the morning or something, like, and I probably was doing other shit, and I just forgot it. Cause again, like nothing changes. I literally didn't think about it until I got the Dean Barry contract and I saw my pay was the same. I was like, wait, what? I was like, bro, I was like, where's my money? And then it was like, well, this would happen because of the no contest. And so I was like, y'all holding me. But like I said, it's the price to pay. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'm
No,
not even supposed to be here, Ben. I'm like a little blip in the matrix, free roaming, bro. I'm not supposed to be. I'm just having fun, my guy.
notably, Brooks never said anything about it either.
But
So
but again, for him, like it doesn't matter. Like this whole thing, like it doesn't matter either way. Like why would he bring light to it, right? Why would he? For him, I feel that he is comfortable in the current role that he is, being a analyst or a commentator for CFFC.
mhm.
And I get that right? I was just doing
Yep,
off the dome.
you did.
That was a
It's because we
freestyle. But,
talked about Philly right before we started the
ah,
recording, so like CFFC was in your mind.
it
Uh,
was.
while I got you here, right after the Brooks fight, weed or no weed, Dana White expressed his dissatisfaction with the fight.
He should have had weed, bro. They should have gave him a joint before that conference, dog. That's what they should have did. He'd have felt better.
His, his eyes would have been as red as the rest of his head. Uh,
Yeah.
um, but
No, I do
based
know.
on what I heard at that post fight presser, I was like, I don't think Mike's getting another call from the UFC. What's the process that kind of led to the Dean Barry fight?
Um, well, I was Dean was actually the second guy. The first one I was offered a fight and on the Argentina card way back when. Damn, that feel like so long ago, bro. For real. Um, that one, I had some injuries going on, and then it was basically a waiting game. And also, look, man, it has to make, like, the fight has to make sense, man. You have to understand, like, again, I'm a blip in the matrix here, and I can't just go and fight anybody because, again, a lot of these commissions, they're not going to even sanction it, so they have to make sure that the fight makes sense on paper, you know. So a lot of people, they talk like, oh, like, you suck, we haven't seen you fight, and blah blah blah. Like, it doesn't work that way. Y'all have to stop. Y'all don't know what y'all are talking about. Um, but it was just, it was kind of one of those moments where the Dean Berry, kid, he popped up. And that's a fight that makes sense, you know. I feel not only does it make sense from, like, on the commission, making sure all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed. Like, it makes sense from a fan's perspective, stylistically, for a fight. Like, y'all, people want to see cats out there throwing them things, and it's gonna be like, look, my shit is beautiful. I don't care what any y'all get. Look, y'all can talk all that shit y'all want to talk. What I did to Phil, I was sparring the kid. That was an exhibition for me. It was like what Floyd did to Jake Paul, right? And I did that to him. I showed a little bit, not too much, showed a little bit. And the next one, y'all gonna get some real cool shit. You know what I'm saying? Something that's gonna, wow. That's what I'm trying to do, and that's what I'm here for. But I promise you, Dean Barry's gonna be doing the same thing with his little feats. He gonna be trying to kick my head off. He already said he wants the 50,000. So I mean, if you making big statements like this already, you're telling me you coming to do something to me, which means you bringing the violence, which that's going to entertain fans. Well, people know what I'm coming to do. If you watch my kickboxing, my boxing, all of them is knockouts. Again, the only reason I did not Phil out was, that was not what I was there for. I was there to do what I did, to make it where he didn't belong, to show people that if I'd have went out and just knocked the dude out, then, oh, he was supposed to knock him out. So it is what it is. But when you see me and Dean, though, it's gonna be beautiful.
Well, I mean, I'll chip in a personal note here. I mean, you and I met personally for the first time, a few weeks ahead of the Brooks fight. We did a
Really?
long form. We did a long form interview. Like we went to that cryotherapy place and probably talked for
I
like
remember
90
that.
minutes.
I didn't know
Yeah,
that was
like
our first time. No, I forgot.
well, I'd seen you at Fury and LFA events, but that was the first time we actually talked. But
Oh, right.
two items that I came out of that with that made it into the long form interview were, one, I smoke weed, and two, I don't want to hurt Phil Brooks too bad. Both turned out to be absolutely true. You have earned your nickname in my book, for as
I
long as we know each other.
I'm gonna put this part of the interview up, like, so I'm gonna clip this part.
All
I
yours.
love that.
It's all yours, my friend.
That's
Uh,
that shit.
talking like, let's steer this back to something resembling a normal interview. You've been a 4-ounce Fight Club guy from way back, but I know that at least ahead of the Brooks fight, you did split time at Fortis. What's training look like for you right now
Well,
ahead of the Berry fight?
let me clarify a few things. So, although I was well, the 4 ounce was started to shift, and nothing bad or anything. I love these guys. I still cross train, anything like that. But Crew Bob Perez is my coach,
Hmm.
and he went over to Main Street. He joined up, with those guys, took ownership, and it was just that, nothing more than that. As Bob being my coach. So I've been at Main Street for several years, and I spend time as well as the Henzo Gracie, and then we also have our Henzo Gracie Academy affiliate inside Main Street now. But no, for me, again, tying back to the blip in the matrix, being in the position that I'm in, I get to meet a lot of cool people, in this industry, and I get to build relationships with people, and when I get to travel the country doing my person, the media personality thing, these gyms, they open their doors to me, and Fortis is, I've been knowing Coach Safe since when he was at Octagon MMA, back in the day. This was like 2011, 2012. And then, he opened his own gym in Fortis. And that's my guy. I love him, man. He means a lot to me. He's done a lot for me. And to see his program, to see it grow the way it has, like it's been a beautiful thing. He has guys that champions in LFA. He's champions in other regional organizations, and there we have guys that are doing phenomenal in the UFC at a high level. So it's all love and respect to those guys. And prior to the Punk fight, I did my last week of camp there, and I got to work with Macy Sasson. We got it in, and a few other guys. Shout out to my guy Ryan Spann. We got to in camp on a great note. And it's funny because we talked about it after the fight. I talked to Coach Safe, and he was like, bro, fuck what they say. I mean, none of that shit matters. He said, well, what you did, that's what we game plan for, and you went out there and you did what we game plan. You know what I'm saying? And that shit meant everything. Because he could, everybody know Coach. We hear him on the mics, the hot mics on the fights. He's a wild boy sometimes.
Yeah.
And you see him in the gym, and he's a wild boy somewhere in there. So you never know what you're gonna get. But to get that genuine love for the feedback, it meant so much. And it's a contribution to my mentality of how I look at things. Now is that, people have different perspectives in life, right? And this is what I'm doing with my life. All these people over here trying to share their opinions of what I should have done, and oh, you suck because you didn't finish him, or none of that matters. Like, it literally, none of that shit matters. So that's why I get to enjoy counter trolling these guys. I'm in the comments, and people are like, why are you giving me internet? Like, look, it's a hobby. I'm building a brand literally off of counter trolling these kids, man, with the shits and giggles, because that's what we here for. Me being in the UFC is almost a troll to some of these guys, because they're so, like, these guys are so angry and mad that I'm here. I'm like, bro, like, where was the love growing up? You missing something in your life to be this upset and angry at me. Ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? You see too, my guys. You do better with yourselves. Losers, dude.
All right. So when and where is the Dean Barry fight?
Man, we're working on it. So I talked to Dean not too long ago, and he got his visa. He's ready to boogie. He's ready to come to the States and get it in with your boy. Right now we just don't have a date yet. It was cool. It was like, dog, my whole thing. I never envisioned being in the UFC, but you can't look fighting in the UFC in your hometown. Like, what? Like, who doesn't? Like, I think about all the people who fought in the UFC, and think about the people who had that opportunity. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to my boy Derrick Lewis, my guy. He's getting a title shot here, man. But I wanted to get on the card. That would have been dope, but I don't. I think it was he didn't get the paperwork, everything done in time, and the card. If you look, because they already released the card is pretty full. Oh, well, it's full. Like, and it's a solid card too. So it just, I don't feel it happened in time. But look, I'm cool to go to Vegas. I'm cool to fighting in the Apex. Or if it's somewhere that has some clean people, I'm there too.
And it sounds as though the UFC is going to do multiple cards in Houston. They sound like, they made an agreement with the Toyota Center.
Yeah. It only makes sense, man. Like, it's this city. Look, man, I remember back in, like, let's see, I fought here 2009, man. From 2009 to right before, now it was before the LFA merger. It was just, dude, it was so hot here, dude. Like, the Houston MMA scene before, like, this was early, like when Daniel Pineda just signed to the UFC, Andrew Craig was there. The scene, and right before that, the scene was so hot, and it kind of shifted away for a little bit, but Fury's coming back hard, doing his thing, always putting on an exciting fights. I I think it only makes sense. You know, the crowd, the Houston scene, man. You know, I feel like I've been an ambassador for Houston MMA, you know, since I've been out here doing my thing. You know, so I understand the hunger that the Houston fans want for MMA. You know, and if you can get the premier organization, and you know, you get the Derrick Lewis, who, you know, he's like the face of Houston MMA in a way now. You know, you get these guys that are building brands off of this, man. And Houston is just a great city. It's one of the dopest cities. It's my favorite city in the world, right? It is one of the dopest cities. It's culturally diverse. Everybody's here. We got all the dope foods, Truth Food Tour all the time. You know what I'm saying? Why not come here to the Toyota Center where you're making money at the gate? You're killing at the gate because the people want to see it. So keep bringing it back. We don't need to. We don't. Vegas is cool. Vegas gets all the love, but Houston's where it's at, baby.
Houston's the best food city in America. Well, I mean, the door opened to Texas because Texas ceased to give even one solitary shit about COVID. But
Yeah.
because the UFC doesn't like Dallas for some reason, Houston reaps all the benefits. I'm willing to take it because if I can cover a blockbuster event and sleep in my own bed that night, I
Right.
call that a win.
Yeah, you know, it was you had to pick one. You had to pick a city, and it was just the luck of the draw. The H-Town got it, but it makes sense because we're way more culturally diverse in Houston than we. And don't get me wrong, as a kid growing up, Dallas wasn't the spot for me. Nothing against my Dallas people, wasn't for me. But now I love Dallas. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But it's not Houston. It's just not. It doesn't light a candle to us. But I love my
Absolutely.
Dallas people. There's a shorty with the Yankees out there. I should love y'all.
Shout out Matt Wells. What's up, man? I think that's about all I've got. I got about I had about 6 minutes worth of questions. I got about 22 minutes worth of the truth.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to close on?
Ah, man. I'm waiting for this shit. I'm like a slow. Like, for me, I gotta make sure all my I's are dotted and T's are crossed for projects, especially when I want to release. But I really want to get this Shits and Giggles brand blasted here in the next few months. I want it to coincide with. I think that's the issue. Is like I want it to coincide with a fight, and then the fight kind of fell through, and I kind of like threw it to the back burner a little bit. But I have some hot irons in the fire right now, man. And I think in a few months, or whether it's the fight announcement or not, I think in a few months some shit's gonna get popping, and we gonna keep this dream alive, because we fighting to keep the dream alive every day, right? But the dream is gonna expand here soon, and it's gonna be fun. Make sure y'all follow me at the True Jackson on the social media, the Twitter, the Instagram, all that good stuff. And stay tuned.
For Mike Jackson, I'm Ben Duffy of Sherdog.com. Thank you for listening.